The sure way to get anyone's attention as the guy who has learned a lot about a subject is to go on about the psychology involved. Who wouldn't want to know how the mind works when it comes to money? You could know how to make the best of it and avoid some pitfalls that are keeping you down. Ready? This is a summary of the book, Psychology of Money, Timeless Lessons on Wealth, Greed and Happiness, by Morgan Housel, a financial journalist and economist. He starts off with a quote by Sherlock Holmes. "The world is full of obvious things which nobody by any chance ever observes." In a few minutes, let's see what is so obvious about human psychology and money. Foremost, making money is more about your behavior than the knowledge you have. You could read all the books on finances, but if your ultimate behavior is not productive, the knowledge just rots in your head. So you better learn some behavioral psychology. Moving on, Morgan makes a very important statement that we think about and are taught about money in ways that are too much like physics, with rules and laws, and not enough like psychology, with emotions and nuance. The truth is, financial decisions are very much under the influence of ego, emotions, and cognitive biases. After all, a genius who loses control of their emotions can be a financial disaster. Good financial decisions are not only about financial expertise, but patience, humility, and long-term planning. Here are a few lessons from the book. The first is that everyone has different attitudes towards money. This is influenced by the era in which you were born, your childhood, and many experiences in life. This attitude is sure to affect how you behave with your money. You can see that in the different financial strategies people take, and their views on such strategies, such as renting, investing in the S&P 500 index, and trading in cryptocurrency. For instance, your parents have a different attitude to technology than you. The book also points out the importance of luck in the financial success of people for the reader. You can think of people such as Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos. It was not just hard work and skill for these people. Fortune also visited them. Let's make this as practical as possible. Take a look at your life and how far you have come in education, career, and finances. Now forget about the people who are doing better than you, such as some colleagues and your bosses. Look at those you are doing better than. Was it all hard work on your part? Weren't you lucky to have been born in a certain country to certain parents? Wasn't life easier because Dad had a friend who was a lawyer or a doctor? You are lucky to be where you are. Remember your luck in life and stay humble. By the way, that was also a lesson on greed. Be conscious of the comparator groups you consider. They keep changing as you advance in life. Learn when enough is enough. Really consider if you need something extra. Morgan wrote, "There is no reason to risk what you have and need for what you don't have and don't need." It has become an earworm at this point, but you should recognize the value of compound interest. As of January 2020, when this book was released, Warren Buffett, the Oracle of Omaha, and possibly the greatest investor of all time, was worth $84.5 billion. Of that amount, $84.2 billion came after 1980, and $81.5 billion came after 1990. So that is $2.7 billion from investing in a decade. And as you may have guessed, the next decade was more than $2.7 billion. It compounded. He is about 90 years old now. Buffett had time work for him, about a century of time. Yet he is only a man, just like you. Another important takeaway from the book is to save as much as possible. You know, saving as income minus expenses. But consider this too. Saving is income minus ego. What do you think? Interesting, right? You probably have little control over your income, but you surely have control over your savings rate. The next takeaway is to use money to buy freedom. Freedom in time and options. Morgan writes, "Using your money to buy time and options has a lifestyle benefit few luxury goods can compete with." The book also distinguished between getting wealth and staying wealthy. Morgan writes, "Getting money is one thing, keeping it is another." He continues, Getting money requires taking risks, being optimistic, and putting yourself out there. But keeping money requires the opposite of taking risks. It requires humility and fear that what you've made can be taken away from you just as fast. It requires frugality and an acceptance that at least some of what you've made is because of luck. So past success can't be relied upon to repeat indefinitely. Notice how the book seeks to point out and train your mental attitude about wealth. It must be worth a read after watching this summary. If you are enjoying this summary, like this video, and subscribe to this channel for more wisdom for your wallet. The book also has an important take on how people think about acquiring and spending wealth. There is a paradox here. People tend to want wealth to signal to others that they should be liked and admired. But in reality, those other people often bypass admiring you, not because they don't think wealth is admirable, but because they use your wealth as a benchmark for their own desire to be liked and admired. They are as narcissistic as you. The letter I wrote after my son was born said, "You might think you want an expensive car, a fancy watch, and a huge house. But I'm telling you, you don't. What you want is respect and admiration from other people, and you think having expensive stuff will bring it. It almost never does, especially from the people you want to respect and admire you. That ought to make you take another look at your spending habits." Morgan continues, "My point here is not to abandon the pursuit of wealth, or even fancy cars. I like both. Humility, kindness, and empathy will bring you more respect than horsepower ever will. Ultimately, the idea is to buy a fancy car for a good reason. Psychology, you get it. Wow, this might be getting lengthy. Anyway, that is to be expected from 20 chapters of wisdom. Let's end this video with a memorable one. Aiming to be mostly reasonable works better than trying to be coldly rational. You are not a spreadsheet but a person, technically an emotional person. Being coldly rational might not be as sustainable as you would hope. In Morgan's opinion, people are neither rational nor irrational. We are human. We don't like to think harder than we need to, and we have unceasing demands on our attention. Seen in that light, there's nothing surprising about the fact that the pioneer of modern portfolio theory built his initial portfolio with so little regard for his own research. Nor is it surprising that he adjusted it later. Here is another option to being rational, being reasonable. A rational investor makes financial decisions based on numbers and facts. But the reasonable investor considers the social component, such as the wife, co-workers, personal doubts, and the chance to sleep better at night. Just get better in financial literacy, make some mistakes, learn from them, and grow every day. Thanks for watching this video.